Going into this game and seeing what we do have here. Whirlwind is a very large map, that's one thing, and very suited to macro plays. And the second thing is that if we look where the Protoss takes his natural, the natural is tucked back very nicely, so it's hard, kind of difficult to reach the nexus. You can do a wall off even using this neutral supply depot, so you can do a full wall off, kill the supply depot later on to open up a door if you wish, because the ramp is quite large, so I mean it's quite wide. And then when you want to take your third base, if we look at the 12 o'clock position and compare the distances to the natural, and then if we look at the pocket expansion right here below the first and compare that to your second base, it's equidistant, and both of these have the same number of entrances. Look at this. We have a ramp here and a ramp here. One is with the rocks, and if we take a look at the second possible third location, we have also two ramps, exactly the same, one with the rocks, the other without, and the same size. So this map is absolutely symmetrical. So spawn positions on this map don't come into play as much as on other maps, which is totally awesome.
It's a very good piece of analysis you've dispensed there, BelleNOiR. Thank you for just giving me a quick overview of the map. I must say it looks like a map where siege tanks will be exceptionally strong on, though.
Yes, it is. There are a lot of ridges and cliffs where you can position tanks. So tanks definitely are very strong. Now in PvZ matchup, of course, airplay is really good for Zergs here, as well as Progasses. If you go mass air, if you play Sky Toss, or if you go Mutalisks, it's very good, just because the distances are very long. Roaches not as effective on this map. Speedlings very good. Multi-harass with warp prisms and multiple warp and pylons by the Progasses are also very good on this map, just due to the distances between the bases. And of course you have dead airspace where you can hide warp prisms in. You basically have a spot to hide warp prisms in between each of the bases.
Indeed, although the Zerg player must be careful with Mutalisks due to the small area behind the main base. Isn't very good to retreat into, as opposed to on some maps like Tal'Darim, where they have a more liberal fly zone. So we're going to have to see what kind of style PainGamer goes for. We've seen a lot of Davithor lately, who is the more macro beast, and PainGamer I've never seen play, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's a more reserved two-base timing, or if he does go for the macro.
Well, PainGamer just playing very standard right now. He is getting his gases, he is getting his cybercore, he is at the appropriate probe count. Alcatraz will be getting a third base, and look at this impeccable timing by eXe, which is a clan, by the way. PainGamer sees that. The base is a little bit late, though, compared to the standard timing, which is 4:15. But gas is being taken right now by Alcatraz, so it looks like he is going to go into that very standard 3-base Zerg style of play with Lings.
I couldn't agree more. Possibly getting roaches as well to complement these Zerglings, or even just straight into Infestor tech. I feel one of the potential points of this tournament thus far, that we should rename it in the future, will be the BelleNOiR PvZ tournament.
Oh my god, yes. We had so many PvZs. You know, I'm kind of sad about this, because I would very much like more Terrans in the tournaments, but there's just not enough. There's not a lot of Terrans on the ladder. Not to mention Terrans that want to sign up for a tournament. Oh my god, we have a proxy pylon here. We have 3 additional gates going down by PainGamer. Very good timing. This is going to be a +1 gateway attack. And if Alcatraz is not prepared for it, this third may very well go down. He needs to find that proxy pylon ASAP. It's on the low ground, which means he can warp in on the high ground when he chooses to do so, and those gates are perilously close to finishing.
Indeed, with no speed, that Stalker can kite around these Lings indefinitely. The Zealot with +1 can do a lot of damage to the Lings. So all in all, any gateway composition right now is going to be exceptionally strong for eXePainG against Alcatraz.
And there go more links into trying to defend this base. That's actually quite a high number of links. You don't want to fight on creep versus this eXePainG. He's just seeing if there are any roaches coming out, and he sees none, so he's warping in Zealots. Those Zealots should immediately go after the drones, queens, anything economic-wise, because with good defense, you cannot kill a Zerg with this. This is just a pressure. It's not supposed to kill him. Nevertheless, a second pylon going down. The probe goes down, which is really important. For Alcatraz to continue his defense. More Zealots being warped in, and I think this is really quite a lot of Zealots. But right now, roaches are hatching, and roaches will have no problem dealing with Zealots here. But
the roaches,
this hatchery...
roaches will be able to clean this up, but not after the third base goes down. And once the third base is down, the 4-gate can just pull away, and he's already taken his third base behind this. He started teching up, he's got his robotics facility, and now he can just walk home. He's lost like 3-4 Zealots in this entire engagement and taken down so much of his opponent's economy, Zerglings, a queen. Pivotal amounts of damage done here.
Definitely, a very nicely executed pressure by eXePainG. I always say that by now every Zerg and his grandmother should know how to defend this type of pressure, but you know, it was very popular about a year back. Usually transitioned into a Stargate or Roboplay or a third base. One of the first Protosses who ever started doing this build was Liquid Hero, but since then it really phased out of fashion. Not a lot of players are doing this strategy, so Zergs are not really expecting it. And I think we are in the round of... yeah,
we are in lower brackets, round of 3. So at the moment, just adding on a lot of sentries, adding on the Twilight Council, Immortals. This is starting to look like a more standard PvZ without the Zerg being on his third base and taking his fourth. So we're going to have to see how soon eXePainG takes his gas on his third, which is going to let us know when he's planning on taking up into Colossus, into higher tech. But the expansion has been scouted, and the Ling run by is coming around. This... Stalker's waddling past like, hey guys, you coming to kill my base? Fine, just go through. And a lot of probes are going to die here.
Well, he killed about 10 probes exactly with this little run by. He forced a couple of force fields down, even gets the Stalker on the retreat, and he needs to be doing a lot of this chipping damage right now because he is behind, make no mistake, Zerg or no Zerg, mass inject or no mass inject. He is definitely behind. He is getting his pathogen glands, will be getting those infestors out, meanwhile producing more and more Lings, wants to keep up the pressure. He just has to be careful not to overproduce them because he will need the economy to keep up with the Protoss hard-hitting units like Immortals and later on Colossi, which the Protoss is going to have.
And only now has his Evo Chambers finished. He's not started his upgrades yet, but his opponent is on +2 attack already, or started +2 attack whilst being on 1-1. So he's got a definitive edge on the upgrades. And right now his force could easily take out his opponents, and he's on equal basis to top that. The Spire has gone down though, so it is looking like Alcatraz wants to move towards Broodlord tech whilst taking his third base.
Well, he does not have enough minerals, quite frankly, to get that get that hive up, and that, like, you know, the partial reason for that, or the main reason for that, should I say, is the lack of dronage. He is still only on 59 drones, and for this transition you really need full 3-base saturation at least, and the gases from your fourth base. So here we have another engagement, ton of Lings went down, and this is a lot of sentry. Most of them are with full energy. This Nexus will go down, maybe?
The Nexus should not go down if the force fields are placed right, but a slight blunder, but all the roaches will fall, and Alcatraz has no way to follow this up. He's losing this entire army, and right now Pain Gamer can just push across the map and be able to win.
Well, he just now lost all of his army, so the potential minerals and gas he would have wanted to spend on hive tech units, or at least get that hive. Speaking of which, he is not going to have, and right now he's producing tons of infestors and lings. He also has some roaches, and interestingly enough, he researched neuroparasites, so maybe he is going for the immortal parasites.
That is a potential thing to do, especially with so many sentries. This army is incredibly weak. The only things that are decent in this army is the Immortals. So if he can neuroparasite the Immortals, neuroparasite the Colossus, he will easily be able to clean up this army just because of the fact that sentries are so low on damage, and they're not going to be able to kill these Immortals very fast. So a lot of damage will be dispensed upon himself.
And here Pain Gamer is moving up. He has the vision of the whole army of Alcatraz because of that one observer there. And here comes the Guardian Shield. Here comes the battle.
The force fields are very fast to go down. One Immortal, two Immortals have been neuroparasited, but the Infestors won't last very long. The entire army is getting ripped apart by Pain Gamer. And the force fields just are so phenomenally good this game. He's just consistently pushing his opponent back. He's losing a lot of units, but Alcatraz can't reinforce against this. And there are just another wave of Stalkers following this up. A proxy pylon even closer than before. And Alcatraz can't defend his base right now. He has to pull back to a position further back, hold off there, but he's not going for that. He's just sending wave after wave of unit in to die consistently to Pain Gamer's supremely good army right now.
Yeah, I think that is partly because of the rally points which have just now been changed. He saved some of the drones, but a lot of them went down, 14 to be exact. This base also killed, and I think Pain Gamer might be able to finish, or definitely will be able to finish Alcatraz with just a gateway army with superior upgrades, +3, about to finish as well. And look what he has back home at his base. He already has a 4th finished up. He has Colossi.
The Colossus is with the main force now. 4 Mutalisks are coming out, but there's so many Blink Stalkers it won't even matter. Alcatraz is in a sour position, 100 supply down, and I wouldn't be surprised if he GG'd out right now. Without the capacity to win this at all, he's losing his Evo Chambers, losing the upgrades, and there goes